What do you say to some of the younger musicians of today's generations who may look at some of the platforms and stages that you're on and feel like they deserve to be on those same stages, but may not have the skills for that yet?
How do you tell a kid they can't play? How do you tell a person, man, you can't play? You just can't play. Nobody wants to do that. Well, not in this day and time. Nobody wants to do that because then you're gonna, run into problems. But here's the thing. Sometimes these guys, they have music as a hobby. And then they come to your church and they say, hey man, I can play. Well, no, you can't play. That's a hobby for you. That's a side hobby for you. That's not a career for you. That's not a skill that you've mastered enough to where we should be paying you for that. It's just a hobby. You can't play. But watch this. Because we're in need, because the church is in need, they will take that kid who can't play and put him in there and then have the nerve, audacity to give him a little check, give him a little money. So now it creates in the kid an expectation for a dollar amount for a skill he has not yet ascended to.
Where do y'all find these videos at? Where do y'all find these videos at that y'all sent me on this? I've seen this guy Brown, Jonathan Brown, before on the channel. I think this is the Chief Levite guy. This is the Chief Levite guy that popped up, and we talked about his video a few weeks ago. And here he is. He's back again. Tag team back again. Check it directly. Let's begin. All right. So this is interesting. This is interesting take. Yeah, are we talking about kids here? Are we talking about like little kids, 12-year-old, 13, 15, 16, 19, 20? We talking about 25? We talking about 30-year-olds? Who are we talking about at this point? And that saying, I have a hobby and I'm going to a church, walking into a church and I'm saying like, oh, I know how to play, pay me. How often is that happening? I don't know. Are we setting up a hypothetical here, or are these real world case studies? Or are we just building a narrative off of something that we think that makes our case? We all do that at some level or some place or whatever. But this is interesting to see, that, and he's talking about they have the audacity to pay them. But he also said that, like, because the church has a need, right? Let's precursor that with the church has a need. Someone comes in and says, hey, I can play. They may not be the best or the most talented. They're a kid, and they start playing, and the church decides to start paying them because obviously they're solving the need. And it's not the audacity to build some sort of, expectation. But yet again, there's nothing wrong with building that expectation, because if he's serving that church right and he's building and he builds his chops and he gets better, and it goes to a point where, okay, I don't want to make this a hobby. Maybe I want to make this a side gig. Maybe I want to make this a situation where I go and I make this my life's mission, my career, to be a musician and serve the church and serve churches. And they go to another church to, um, play there, and this is their dollar amount. That's their expectation. I don't see anything wrong with that.
And then it also births in the kid entitlement. Yeah. So now, if it doesn't work out here, wherever that person goes, wherever a kid goes, they go to the next place, they're expecting, because the last person paid them, even though they shouldn't have paid them because they weren't ready. And so they come over to you, or they come over to me, and you say, hey, you're not ready. Oh, yeah, I can play. I'll play. No, you're not ready. Matter of fact, you can't even play. How do you tell a person can't play?
You just tell them that they can't play. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not willing to pay you because you can't play. That's that easy. It's just that simple, and if the person has a problem with that because they're not skilled enough or they feel entitled, um, that's a different scenario. It's a different type of person. And you don't want that type of person in your ministry, in your connection in any kind of way. So yeah, there's nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with telling somebody, no, hey, bro, you're not ready.
It's kind of hard today to do that because musicians are so soft in their feelings. You know what's going on, man? They would just tell them, "Hey, man, get off. You can't play. Joey, you trash. You know, you need to go practice." The musicians are so in their feelings today. They're so in their feelings. It's hard to tell a musician you're not ready.
All of us in our generation, we were all at one point chomping at the bits, trying to get on the drums, trying to get on the organ, get on the keys, play behind Bishop, do whatever. We were all chomping at the bits. It wasn't no, we were all trying to develop because we saw that as a place to develop. So I don't 100% lock in on that. We was the same, acting the same way, doing some of the same things. There just wasn't no social media for us to whine about. That's the difference between this generation. I don't call this generation soft. I don't they are soft in some areas, you know what I mean? And that's because of parenting, because of a lot of other things. But the thing about it, I don't call them soft completely because most of them don't have a problem voicing their opinion, especially in the public light and the point. And it takes courage to do that. We didn't have a platform. There was no place for us to complain towards besides each other. We would complain to each other. We would go to each other and say, "Yeah, man, dog, man, he's so arrogant. Dr. So and so is just so whatever musician we call him, Dr. Whoever. Dr. So and so is just so arrogant, bro. He think he know everything because we would say some of the same stuff. We just didn't have a place to type it out in the public forum.
You know, most guys who have a spotlight today, what I'm looking at, and this is any shade on anybody, but what I'm looking at with most of the musicians that are highlighted today is it's like a piece of fried chicken that you cook too fast. So on the outside, it looks good, all crispy, but on the inside, it ain't done. It ain't ready. It's a nasty situation.
I don't know why that was so funny to me. That's actually a good analogy. I like that analogy. You said this generation today is the spotlight. I think, okay, here's what I think. Let me close the door on this. For me, talk is not the same as teaching. A lot of us, young G's, OGs, um, we talk a whole lot. We don't teach. In our brain, typing out a paragraph status on Facebook is teaching somebody. It's not. People aren't, they're not they're not there. They're not interested in that. They're not interested in that's the place, that's the public forum where you have conversations. That's not where teaching happens. Teaching happens when you're able to connect with that group or that individual in a personal way to impart into them wisdom and knowledge. The problem with our generation is um, we know how to talk real good. We can say a bunch of stuff, but at the root of it, we don't have the capacity to teach, to train, to impart. Now, I'll be generous towards Dr. Brown here. He's one, apart from all of the Levite stuff that he talks about. Miss me with that. I got love for you. I got respect for you. But the Levite stuff, I'm not rocking with that. That's fine. Um, but at least he spends time on his platform challenging people and trying to remain in the relevance and trying to have conversations. I'll give him his brownie points for that. He is very good at that. And that's the thing that I'm talking about, that at least he's doing that most OGs will not do. They just like to just talk, and we become like old men complaining on the porch about the kids in the neighborhood running through our yard. Get that kid, and if we use the old man analogy, get that kid to come cut your yard. Give him something productive to do. Give him something to where you can train him, where you can build him, you can do all of those. I am totally tapped out on. That's why I don't tap in on a lot of these conversations. I'm tapped out on some of these conversations where these guys try to, um, um, exert their dominance in these areas because they've been playing for so long. Miss me, even me being in that generation. Miss me with that. Go teach them. Go build something. Create content. That's what this channel is. That's what I'm doing here. I do videos every day where I'm reacting to our culture and what's happening in our culture, in our specific like musician culture. And I take these things and I dissect them and I give point of view, perspective, knowledge, information, impartation based on where I'm at. And all I do is show up every day with a new video, with a new topic, with something interesting, and I give my points on it and I give practical application to it. On top of that, I got a Patreon. I literally am training and teaching people how to make content, how to build 6, 7 figure businesses in the music industry, how to sustain themselves in a career like I've been able to do over 20 plus years of business. I build bridges. Talk is cheap, it doesn't put any money in my pocket. I build bridges. I build YouTube videos. I podcast. I've had some of the greatest musicians, producers, engineers, the people that are way smarter than me, way more talented, the best of the best in our industry, right here in this studio. And we create content, we create classes. As an OG, this is the place that you should be in this point of your life. You know what I'm saying? You should be in the place where, yes, you're making impartation. Talk. The talk is cheap. What are you doing beyond that? Have you sat down with that young person? Have you reached out to them and said, hey, man, I'm Dr. So and so. I'm Mr. Such and such. I'm Dr. Whatever. I'm whoever. I've been playing for 30 years, man. I've been catching your content. I really love it. I really da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? I would love to sit down with you, man. We can lock in on Zoom. I just want to show you a few things that I've been seeing in your content there, how you can learn how to play in other keys. I notice you only play in one key. Who's doing that? You guys aren't doing that. You're just complaining. And so this generation, you got to know how to talk to this generation. Like this generation is different, just like our generation was different. Our parents could not talk to us the way their grandparents talked to them. They tried it and we rebelled. This generation is no different. I cannot talk to my own children the same way that my dad talked to me. Not always. There are scenarios where I have to be very stern and have to tell them certain things. But overall, there's a different approach that we have to this generation because their brains are wired different than we are. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing evil about that. Complaining about that does zilch, zero, nada, nothing. You won't reach them. But what does reach them is when you're able to, whether you agree with it or not, approach them with a level of decent respect. And not only that, build something. So that's just my take. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to learn how to teach. We need to learn how to teach. We need to learn how to build something. Go build something great. Stop complaining. You just spending your days typing paragraphs. Get out here, even like Dr. Brown is doing. Make some content. You know, do some video work. Do all that stuff. That's all I got. Yo, what up, guys? It's your boy John Mike. If you've been rocking with my content and you want to go beyond what YouTube allows, what social media allows, that's exactly why I created my Patreon. Over there, I break down the real side of music tech, business, how this industry actually works, the creative side. I'm talking exclusive podcasts with your favorite creators. And there's 3 ways that you can join. There's a support tier that starts at just $5 a month. That's for people who just want to support my work and get early access to the content that I create. The Creator Plus tier goes deeper into the tools, the workflows, the plugins, everything that I use to create and scale out my content. And then there's the Business Plus tier. This is where we talk strategy, monetization, ownership, all of the things that I do to make money, how I scaled a 7-figure company, how you can do it too, asking questions, all of the crazy things that you want to know about how to build a sustainable, real career in music. So if you're really ready to take this to the next level and grow your creative business this year, then please join me over there at Patreon. The link is down below. I'll talk to you guys over there. Let's get it.